Hi, I'm going to be talking about unemployment and its effect on the economy. To start, unemployment has a pretty direct definition. It's a state of not being employed. So that means you don't have a job, you're not working, you're not receiving any money or income from any working labor, you're unemployed. Unemployment. There's 4 different types of unemployment. The first one is cyclical unemployment, and that is changes to the business cycle. So a good example of this would be a construction worker being laid off during a recession due to the decline in housing market demand. The second would be frictional unemployment, and this occurs when moving from one job to the other. This is one of the most common ones because a lot of people go through it. A good example of how to explain this would be like if you were fired, you quit, you were laid off from one job, it's a time until you get a new job and start working there. That's frictional unemployment. The third one is structural unemployment, and that results from industrial reorganization due to technological changes. And the fourth is seasonal unemployment, and that is temporary loss of jobs due to the season. A good example of this would be a Christmas tree farm. They're not going to hire as many employees during the summer compared to the winter because in the winter Christmas trees are on a higher demand. So it's important to hear about unemployment for numerous reasons. To start, it shows what condition the economy is in. So if unemployment rate is high, that means the economy is in distress. While if unemployment rate is low, that means the economy is in a stable or growing condition. Also helps you understand why we have tax cuts and why the government spends so much money on programs or organizations that help eliminate unemployment. And the government does this because high rates of unemployment negatively affect our economy and our lives drastically. It leads to poverty and strains on public services. Also, high unemployment rate causes a decrease in consumer spending, which causes loss of income. It reduces economic growth, causing a lower GDP, and it increases government spending, like I said before, because they're paying more to organizations, they're helping funding it, or they're giving benefits out to people to help them become employed and help them get out of unemployment. A good example of how the unemployment rate was changing during a economic distress would be COVID-19. During COVID-19, the unemployment rate peaked to around 14.7%, which is extremely high compared to the natural unemployment rate, which is between 4% to 7%. This happened because businesses were being closed and shut down, so they were laying people off, or people were just quitting because of the risk of getting COVID, or it was just too much of a risk to be outside, or health concerns. So the unemployment rate really peaked definitely throughout COVID-19. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, at the fourth quarter of 2019, right before COVID started, the rate was at 3.6, which is pretty average and kind of a normal rate to be at. But then by the second quarter of 2020, right when COVID started, it peaked to around 13.0%, which is a huge increase in just a short amount of time. And then by the fourth period of 2020, it went to a 6.7, which is still pretty high, but that was kind of near the end of 2020, and we were getting adjusted to all the changes and finding other ways to work at home or working in small offices that still you could be quarantined from other people. It's really important to understand unemployment and its effects on the economy, because if you're employed, it's still affecting you. Unemployment rates cause so many damages to our society and our economy. So when it's high, you're still being affected even if you're working. So that's why it's super important to learn about it and know how to avoid unemployment and know why our government does things to help fund and keep unemployment rates down. So yeah.